Welcome in. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, Jet fans have been collectively pulling their hair out over the Jets quarterback situation since Aaron Rodgers went down week 1 against the Bills. And we're trying to figure out what the rest of the season is going to hold. The Jets' new quarterback, Trevor Siemian, was brought in this past week. He's on the practice squad, seemingly going to be elevated up to backup for this week's game, and then who knows what happens beyond that. But the Jets and Robert Saleh have really stood fast behind Zach Wilson, saying he's our guy, he's the starter, we believe in him. They're actually wearing the "I have your back" shirts, kind of like the throwback to last year's Mike White's shirts with all the guys in the locker room. This is their version of it for Zach Wilson. So I want to talk a little bit about the real reason why Zach Wilson is starting quarterback right now for the New York Jets, because we've gone over a few crazy statistics over these last few days, including pocket time, where everyone's saying the Jets' offensive line has been a major issue. And during week 2, I would say it definitely was. But overall, according to statistics, the Jets have been tied for the longest amount of pocket time for a quarterback when, talking about what time that passer has within the pocket, I guess. This is not like a snap to throw where you have the snap and someone's running around like Zach, doing twirly birds and whatnot. This is actually time in the pocket. So clearly the Jets quarterbacks have enough time in the pocket to be able to at least make decisions. So fans are frustrated with that, saying, well, what the heck? If all these other teams and quarterbacks are able to do it, heck, Tua has 2.2 seconds in the pocket and he's got a zillion yards this season. They just hung 70 on Denver. So fans are frustrated. Then you talk about the Jet statistics with and without Zach, and it's really not good. I mean, since 2021 and 2022, this doesn't include this year, you have Zach Wilson led Jets right down here, 31st in passing yards per game. Without Zach Wilson, so that's Mike White, his historic 420 some odd yard game against the Bengals, along with Josh Johnson's 330 yard three-quarter performance against the Colts the following week, and some Flacco performances and whatnot. 319 yards per game. That's number 1 in the NFL when Zach doesn't start. So fans are really scratching their heads saying, why the heck is this guy starting? And aside from like a really out there, I shouldn't say really out there, but a fun conspiracy theory that I think probably some people take a little too far is the JetBlue conspiracy, where JetBlue is a major sponsor for the New York Jets. Zach Wilson's uncle is the founder of JetBlue, so did the Jets and the JetBlue, sponsorship thing. Did something go on where they drafted Zach Wilson because of that connection? And I think that's really stupid because his uncle has not been affiliated with JetBlue since like 2008 or 9 or something along those lines. Not to mention every single other source of draft scouting and everything had Zach number 2 anyway. So I think that's a bunch of hooey regardless. But the real reason why it seems like the Jets have not brought in any viable backup, or I shouldn't say viable backup because Trevor Siemian's absolutely a viable backup. But as far as like a bigger swing, someone maybe like a Kirk Cousins, or maybe a more household name that people were talking about, like a Brissett, a Gardner Minshew, Jameis Winston, those kind of names. Why didn't the Jets go after someone like that? And Josina Anderson popped into Undisputed today and gave her opinion and some of what she believes, and I think was actually said. This is why the Jets are not signing a more highly regarded free agent quarterback or trading for one. I'm told there are budget concerns. Second most in cash spending this year. That's $280 million behind only Cleveland. They feel teams don't usually trade quality backups, and acclimation is harder than people think. So let me kind of break this down because there's a few pieces within this that you want to talk about. First off, the $280 million, that's not in regards to the salary cap. That is actually cash spent. If you have someone that has a 5-year contract that got a $50 million signing bonus, when they actually structure that contract, $50 million of that signing bonus is going to be broken up 10 million, 10 million, 10 million, 10 million, 10 million across 5 years, and you'll have that cap hit associated with each of those years. But in reality, that $50 million was paid out in one lump sum in this current year. So you're not actively spending that $10 million each of those next few years. So that's what they're talking about when cash is spent. So the Jets spent a ton of money on Aaron Rodgers this year with that $50 million guaranteed bonus that kicked in. Even though he restructured, that's still cash out. You talk about Quinnen Williams, who was signed to a monster contract. His whole bonus, even though it's stretched over a bunch of years, all hits this year. And you add up all those salaries that are hitting this year, plus all those signing bonuses that are currently hitting the Jets, and you're talking about $280 million in cash spent this season alone, second behind Cleveland. So that's what they're talking about here. So Woody Johnson spent a ton of money this offseason, $250 million. Then it says Usually, teams don't usually trade quality backups, and that's true. I mean, look at the Colts. They have Anthony Richardson, who's gone out, so Gardner Minshew's had to step in. You've seen Brissett. Did Brissett come in? You've seen Jameis Winston come in for Derek Carr. What I'm trying to get at is the backup quarterbacks are very important for teams early in the season, because what happens if something happens to your main starter? Then at least you got a fallback. Teams, as you get a little bit further into the season, closer to the deadline, then you're more likely to maybe get a trade. But at that point, is the Jets season lost at that point? And you're starting to look at other things like, okay, Kirk Cousins, why isn't he available? What's going on there? Because obviously they're down 3 games. They're 0-3, 2.9% chance of making the playoffs. So, why aren't they moving him? Well, they still have Justin Jefferson. They're trying to do whatever they can to be as successful as they can. So they're not looking to move him right now. That's basically what they're trying to say. And also acclimation to like the playbook. It's going to take a guy like 2 weeks to learn it. So with that sort of knowledge in mind, they went into this season like after Rodgers went down. My interpretation is not that the Jets locker room is at a point of unzipping, but more so there is an immediate understanding after Aaron Rodgers got hurt that this is the amount we're already spending, and you guys need to move forward with those economics. So this is purely a financial decision from ownership. This is top down, saying we have spent a lot of money on this, and because of the caliber of quarterback that we're going to get or the amount of assets that we're going to have to give up, we have deemed it economically unviable to go after that level of quarterback and financially, to pay that kind of quarterback. The Jets currently are sitting at $8 million in salary cap space. Kirk Cousins, if you were to trade for him, would be on about a 1-year, $8 or $9 million contract. It kind of depends when you trade for him, because it's $10 million is what he's getting paid this season if he were traded. So you kind of divide it by 17 games. But either way, the Jets could make a move. They're just not willing to do it, which to me is really a big slap in the face, because I think when you look at Robert Saleh and his defense of Zach Wilson, clearly he's going to stick up for his guy no matter what. But when I'm watching him talk, that is a guy that knows he doesn't have a better option at quarterback right now. The teammates know that there's, at least an issue with them getting the ball, or defenses are playing them differently. Heck, you got Willie Gay, the linebacker for the Chiefs, laughing about the Jets' situation. Oh, it's a team that really wants to run the ball. So it's clear as day that there's a deficiency at the quarterback position for the New York Jets, and the Jets are just saying, hey, we're just going to trot him out there. So in my opinion, when I hear it's because of the money, the $280 million, that's a spit in the face to all the PSL holders that are like, whoa, hold on, season ticket holders too. You guys had to buy into 2 seasons worth of the New York Jets, and they're basically saying, too much money, sorry, can't go out and get the quarterback. At least that's what Josina Anderson is saying, and that rubs me the wrong way. I very much want to see this young team play as many games as possible in the best situation possible and getting the best quarterback possible. Now, I'm not saying to give up a first-round pick, but if Kirk Cousins is available for a 3rd-round pick, or Ryan Tannehill becomes available for a 4th or 5th-round pick, whatever you think it is, that could at least provide some sort of stability where you can grade the rest of the roster, look at this, the starting lineup of the offensive line. Who do you want to retain? Because right now with Zach Wilson as the starter, I don't know if you're getting that. And at the very least, I want to see them just unleash Zach. Let him run all over the place. Let him sling the ball all over the place. This game against the Chiefs, this may be his final game starting in a New York Jet uniform if they decide they want to move on to Trevor Siemian. So for me, he's starting because, 1, there was not a better option until Trevor Siemian came onto the roster this week. And 2, it's because ownership didn't want to spend the money. Additionally, on top of all the money they've already shelled out, so $280 million, that's really the reason why the Jets did not make a stronger move. And they're just saying, hey, look, you got to understand the economics of it. And unfortunately, that is one part of the game. While as a fan, I'm really friggin' frustrated from an economic perspective. I don't know. Like, how much do you want them to spend and maybe go a little bit further? To some degree, there's going to be fans out there that want to see Zach Wilson just start and just bottom out the season. Let's get a quarterback at the top of next year's draft or a top offensive lineman. I hope that's not the case. I don't want to see that. I do want to see as much winning as possible. I don't care if it puts us in a middling draft pick. I'm done with draft picks. We got a good team. We got the quarterback coming back. Let's fix the offensive line. So why is Zach starting? It's the money. Guys, let me know your thoughts of this down below in the comment section. Are you frustrated that it's the money side of things? Do you think it's a different reason that's maybe a little more nefarious? Do you have your tinfoil hat on? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.
Jets!